box. Came in this together, we gave it all that we had. Who wouldn't like us haters big mad? Anytime you feeling sad, turn on our podcast. We talk about whatever just might make you laugh. You never know where the topics may go. Serious to random, I have you rolling on the floor. Hope you join in and take part in our talks. Either way, appreciate you tuning in to Out the Box. Out the Box. Out the Box. Out the Box. We at the box. Out 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 the box. If you hadn't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's right, anchor.fm to get started.
Hey, babe.
What's up, love?
Alright, so last time on part 1, we ended, I believe, that conversation with us just talking about you not being faithful in your relationships. So we just gonna jump back into it. But first, I'm sorry, love. How you feeling?
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, and it's a new light.
And
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Yes.
Okay, but so the last part 1, we ended that one talking about how you felt. With you not being faithful, you had an issue with being faithful. Yeah. So my question that I asked, and I should have asked it then when it was fresh on your mind, but what allows you, because we argue and it gets boring because we've been together now 5 years, going on 2 years of marriage.
Yeah.
I know. So what allows you to, what keeps you faithful to me?
My commitment for my vows, what I vow to you. At the altar.
Okay.
Just trying to honor my vows.
Okay.
Trying to be a better person, try to right my wrongs from my past. Growth.
Okay, then I'm with that. What I do know.
What about you? Because sometimes I'm annoying as fuck.
You say every day. I agree. So
sometimes.
But that's something that I don't know. It's like nobody ever. who better than the kid?
True.
But honestly, I don't know. I just never have a desire with you. I never. It's like, even if my first nature, which is because I think I've said this before, I'm a runner. So when it gets hard, I run. Even if that my nature attempts to kick in and be like, whatever. And you know how sometimes the universe will test you. And so you'll have people that text you out the blue you ain't talked to in forever. Hey, big head. And it's like, I get annoyed.
When it happens, it's like, why? Why? Bitch.
Yes. So, yeah, I get annoyed and I be like, girl, don't fucking play with me. And it's just like, even little things like that. And then, or even if I'm talking to someone and the first thing that come out their mouth be like, so how's the wife? We great. And I be mad as hell at you at the moment. We great. We doing good shit,
This is just you snooping at this point. You snooping and the devil sent you.
Who sent you? And I know who sent you, but I don't know. It'd be easy for me to be faithful to you. I promise it is.
But even though when you get mad, you tell me all about all the hoes that be in your line and your contacts.
It's still, I just be doing it.
It's still all of them now.
Huh?
That's what you was going to say?
No. No.
Okay.
No, what I'm saying is very easy to be faithful to you.
I get that, but you didn't answer the question.
So, what is some of the things? Right. What is it that you asking me, baby? I want to understand. I'm trying to commit.
You understand. You playing dumb. Don't play on my top.
So, I know some of the things that, my issues that I had.
So we're going to talk about it later.
No, we can talk about it now, baby. That's why I'm asking. What is it that you want to know so that I can make
your contacts and your hoes.
What
they're
about?
Still available.
But I mean, of course, people are always there, just waiting, and all you gotta do is just throw a line. But I know that they're just there as a temptation. Mm-hmm. It's just a temptation. So yeah, it would be very easy for me to just be like, "Hey, how you doing? Let's hang out. Let's go have a drink. Let's go eat lunch." You know, anything. Yeah. Like that would be easy. That's what they would be there for. But in the end, I would look. In the end, I would lose. You know what I'm saying? It'd be something temporary. It'd be a temporary. I would lose something that was meant for me off of a temporary reaction. Right. So yeah. But some of the things that I know that used to be my issue, I was uncompromising. I was unfolding. Once I set my mind that I'm not going to, or that's not who I am, or you trying to change me, not changing. I don't care. You could cry, you could beg, you could plead, you can get on your knees. I don't care.
You feel like you do that in this marriage?
I don't. No, I can't. Because, like, as in control, I don't know. Like, have you ever seen the memes where people be like, a woman, like, even though
you can't change. I mean, that you change for me. Or on certain situations.
No, but see, I don't feel like I changed for you. I feel like you make me want to change everything that's wrong about me. Like the benefit that I have with us being aligned, and you being able to, you know, play on my weaknesses or help me with my weaknesses, or vice versa. You know, me with your weaknesses. Mm-hmm. I feel like all of that is what allows me to change. Like this relationship, and I think I posted this weeks ago, and I said this relationship has taught me there's no such thing as take me as I am, and that is the truest thing ever. Like this relationship has taught me, like, this is some shit you be wrong about. Yeah, it's some shit that you need to change. It's some shit that's not copacetic, and it's like
what have you found in you that you feel like needs to change within you without a direct feeling from me trying to make
asking for it?
Yeah, asking for it.
So definitely being communicating. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you say things about my communication in the way that I communicate, but I think a lot of that has to do with just the way that our brains think, and the way that we internalize things. Because a lot of times when we have a disagreement off of communication, but we sit down and we actually talk about it, and you see what I actually meant versus what I said.
But that's true, but that's why they say also it takes patience in a marriage, because if I could tell y'all how long we sit there before I say, she could say something to me and it might be 30 minutes later before I actually understand what she's saying.
Right.
Same, vice versa for her. But at the same time, it's a lot of patience that needs to be had when you get married. If you don't have patience or not willing to try to have patience with the person that you're marrying, it's gonna be really tough, on top of the other stuff, which is communicating, what we talked about in the last episode, and communicate and understanding. So yeah, that's patience is a big part of marriage, like big part. It's not gonna come right away,
right?
And it's not gonna come 2 weeks, 2-3 days later. It might be years before that person actually feels the need to, or it has to be an issue that's bigger than the past issues to make them want to say, hey, let me take a step back and evaluate this part about me and see what it is that I'm actually doing that could be done better.
Right. How did I contribute?
Right.
So Mel and I have been to marriage counseling already. Like, we haven't even been, we've had our one, but we went to marriage counseling before we even made the child. When we did counseling before we got married, and then we actually went to a therapist after we got married. I think we may have been married with like 4 months, 4 or 5 months. But that was horrible. That was horrible though. I mean, she made our problems seem like we didn't even have no problems. So our therapist, I don't know who she wanted to fuck. I don't know if she wanted to fuck Mel or if she wanted to fuck me. I feel like she wanted to fuck both of us, but she wanted to do it separately. Cause I feel like she wanted to be each one of our sneaky links.
Both sides. And that shit right there was the fucked up part about it, because in our sessions, she'll tell me one thing and she'll agree with it. But then in Bay's sessions, she'll tell her one. Bay will tell her one thing and then she'll agree with it. But then when we come together, she'll act as though, like, what is it that's really going on?
Right.
Like, she had no clue. And then when we did our separate sessions, because at first we did separate sessions, and then we came into couple sessions. So she was bringing things from my sessions that was supposed to be confidential into her sessions, which I feel like that was fucked up, and vice versa, which caused confrontation between me and my wife, and also with her because of how she was doing things. Even if we're married and we're doing separate sessions, don't bring our separate sessions into the topic of whoever you're in the room with.
Period, because you ain't combining these copays.
Right.
We paying separate copays, so your motherfucking notes need to be separate. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of, and the crazy part about it is once we stopped going to her, a lot of the issues that we were having, that little, because she would go, I think she would go like early, you would go early Saturday before you went to work, and then I would go after.
Yeah, you'll come.
I'll come like in the afternoon. And so it'll be like, some kind of ways, whatever her and Mel talked about, it will be brought up in our section. Like it was like she kind of got off on wanting to see my reaction, but I am a vault.
Yeah. And
so one of the things that she could not get from me is that this the problem. This is something she used to say to me all the time. This the problem you and Mel be having. This how it would come. So again, I don't know if y'all remember, but on the first episode, I told y'all, people will do that. Like, people will just open up and just tell me their business, and unintentionally, I really used to do that to her because she could not figure out how to break me. She couldn't figure out how to get in my emotions, so she couldn't figure out how to get in. And it's not that I went to therapy closed off. I actually went to therapy open because I wanted to make sure that me and my wife could fix these issues that we were having. But I peeped from her very quickly that I had to be careful. So it was like, it was not, I didn't trust her.
And the crazy part about it was we went to LGBT friendly counselor. But for some reason,
she didn't agree with LGBT.
She didn't agree with LGBT. She was like, y'all shouldn't be married. Y'all going through this. But then it's just like, how you gonna tell us we shouldn't be married? She was married before, but then she got a divorce, and then she's with a boyfriend that she pretty much got shacking in her house.
Oh yeah,
So it's just like, how the hell you gonna judge us for what we doing, and we trying to actually make it? You know what I'm saying? Under the vows that we've both agreed to, you know what I'm saying, and took before God. So it's like, now you done been divorced, and then you have your boyfriend that's pretty much living off of you, and you're gonna tell us that we don't know, we shouldn't be together. Come on now, like all of that had kind of played a big part, and like we had to stop going to her, and it was just like, you know what, this right here, I felt like, now don't get me wrong, she had some good gems throwing at us in the process of trying to help. So for me, I took those good ones and understood that, we are two different people. We are not the same, and things that I want are not going to happen the same way that I want them to happen, and vice versa for Bae, because we are two different people trying to do this union as one
while still healing from personal trauma that we have. Personal trauma.
And then it was just like, she wanted to get Bae because I cried on my first session, and she got sensitive. She got mad because Quan didn't cry.
She wanted me to cry. She talked. So there was a guest, assistant there, or she was a trainee, intern, whatever. She was interning to learn how to So we talking and I'm like opening up, like I'm telling her my deepest, darkest secrets because again, like I said, I'm a vault. So it's a lot of people that have known me for years that don't know my deepest, darkest secrets. So
I feel like it's still something I don't know.
but
I know it's still something I don't know. They'll come out though.
She told the girl, she was like, so when I started telling her just some of the things that I have been through in my life, she told the girl, she was like, handle some tissue. So I was like, oh, so it was like this. As soon as she said handle some tissue, I said, oh, she thought she finna make me cry. I took the tissue.
That's right there. When you trying to make her do something, she rebellious too. She don't want to admit it, but she rebellious too. So if you gonna try to make her do something and she know that's what your intention is, she gonna try her damnedest not to go either deep or not cry. Period.
Girl, I completely turned my emotions.
Off, right?
I folded the tissue up. It was a neat little triangle, and I put it in my pocket. Yeah, no tears. But so anyway, but I say that she wanted to fuck you. Originally,
she brought me bagels in the morning.
Yeah, she used to always bring me up breakfast, and then I just beat her. But then
she got you some coffee, didn't it?
They had a coffee machine. I make my own coffee. But I originally used to feel like, okay, well, she want to fuck Mel, like that's what that is. That's the reason why it's like this. But then after I called her out for telling me some shit that Mel said and her saying some shit to me that Mel said, and I'm like, yeah, so we're not going to come to you anymore. Thank you. She was willing to fire Mel to keep me coming. And I was like, yeah, nah. She was like, no, you could just come and then I'll just fire her. And I'm like, yeah, so neither one of us are coming.
Right.
So I was like, well, shit, did she want to fuck me? So then I was like, okay, so she wanted to fuck both of us. But I think it was separately. She didn't want to do it together. But yeah. Anyway, when we stopped going to therapy, though, a lot of problems that we had went away. So I feel like a lot was her. Now I am an advocate.
To put us against each other.
She was pitting us against each other, and she was actually making it worse. But I still believe that we could probably benefit from couples therapy seriously, like with a good therapist. Yeah. Cause I love
that's actually LGBT friendly, and not just want your money and say they LGBT friendly. Yeah.
Very important. Very important. But so yeah. So again, like I was saying, I was like with you. Before you, with women that I was with before you, I was unfolding. I was non-communicative. I was verbally abusive. Cause I didn't love myself. You know what I'm saying? Even though I've always been outwardly confident, inside I was not confident. I was actually a broken little girl. Mm-hmm. And when I think back of like a lot of the shit that I went through in past relationships, that kind of fueled. I just wanted the what it looked like, but I wasn't ready to put in work. Mm-hmm. I wasn't ready because I was like, I just want to be loved. And I just wanted that. You went
so long without it. You just wanted it immediately.
Yeah, but I wasn't willing to reciprocate. And that was the issue. That was, a lot of people used to always tell me, like, I would date, they'd be like, you so fucking cold-hearted. And it's not that I wasn't cold-hearted. I just didn't know how to receive that. I just know that it felt good. Like, I was one of those women that as soon as the butterfly stage was over, I was done. Yeah. When it stopped being fun and free and care, when it got heavy, I was done. I was done with you. So yeah, I had a habit of pushing things down, and again, like I said previously, my inability to be vulnerable. Like I was not even willing to show anybody that I had a soft side. Like I felt like I had to be tough.
Because you were so used to that your whole life to just be tough.
Yep. One of the things what my deal say, I gotta get you before you get me. Yeah. Like that was me. I'm going to get you, and that was my toxic trait. Like you may not have it, like, but I know that was my toxic trait because these people genuinely did everything that they could to try to show me that they cared and that they loved me, but I didn't care. But then this one, she came, and I again thought I was finna do the same thing, and she was like, "Bitch, you got me fucked up."
All the way. Oh, the way.
What's some of
But
the...
I think,
Okay.
my bad. I think that's one of my toxic traits too. Like just lashing. Well, not that, but just like lashing out, and it's like me. It's like I hold so much in, let it build up until I take it out, and it can be off the littlest shit. And it's just like, yeah, it go from there, and it didn't even have to go there. But yeah, that's what I did. I did that a lot of in past relationships due to the fact of, I really didn't care in the process, but then it was just like irking me that, yeah, you ain't finna continue to be trying to be disrespectful either. So let me go and let your ass have it.
Yeah.
Off not microwaving my food to a temperature that I thought it should be.
Yeah. You were like that. Wow. Yikes.
Yeah. Yikes. So I feel like I've gotten better.
Oh, you're much better, because I don't experience that.
Yeah.
So then, but then that makes me feel that way because, like we've got into it, like with the way that you talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I've said things to you before, like, don't talk to me that way. You know what I'm saying? But not to that extent of why the fuck is my food lukewarm or or whatever. Like, so then what?
Because it's to the point, like, if it is, I'll be like, let me just go read it.
Yeah, but I got it. Or you'll say that. And I'd be like, you'd be like, this cold. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, babe. Let me go reheat it. You're like, no, I got it. So then what pushes you there? Is that, again, just your vows, and that's you trying to be a better person because of the vows you made?
The love that I have for you, it was like them. I might have had love for them because I seen that they cared about me. But it wasn't just initially me being in love with them to where it's like the things that they were complaining about, I wasn't willing to change because in my mind I was good. You the problem.
Yep, and see, that's what I was finna say. I always feel like I was a good woman. Like, you ain't finna tell me I ain't no good woman. Like, I'm sorry that you having issues, or that you feel like you ain't being heard, or that you having to say the same thing over and over me to get. That's your problem.
Right.
You need to fucking learn how to not be so soft.
Yeah, and communicate.
And learn how to communicate. But they are communicating.
They are.
But I didn't give a fuck.
Right. That's the thing. That's the difference. You had to give a fuck in order to hear them.
Yeah.
And we was just at that point where we weren't giving no fucks because we weren't trying to hear them. I don't know. It's like with me, like, I don't know. It was like I be open to it, but then I think I actually could have fell in love with one. But once I realized early on that they lied about something that was asked of them, I couldn't trust you. No. But I continued to date them. No. Because at that time it was like I was very toxic. I didn't know myself. I wasn't trying to learn myself. I just was going with the flow of myself. And what I didn't like, I didn't like. If I liked it, I liked it. If I didn't, I didn't. And it was like no in between of male, like, conscious, like taking a step back and saying, Mel, is this something that is right or wrong? It wasn't none of that, dealing with that, because it was like I didn't trust these women back then. It was like it was hard for me to trust family members. So now at this particular time, if I can't trust them, what the fuck I'm trusting you for? You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm talking about again with that trauma. You know what I'm saying? With your own trauma, and that caused a lot of issues. Right. I know definitely in my own personal relationships that caused a lot of issues, just dealing with abandonment issues, fear of abandonment. And it's just like, again, I'm going to get you before you get me. I'll never give you the upper hand to be able to hurt me. But then getting with Mel has, like, because the possibility is still very real. Like, even though she's my wife, she could still wake up one day and just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I'm not afraid.
I am.
You're afraid?
Because I still have trust issues. Not with you, with just people in general. So that actually still trickle over, I guess, into certain things that could come about in our marriage. Yeah. But it's not necessarily, I trust you with my life. Yeah. But it's just, I've told you this from jump. You know, I still have trust issues. I learned in this relationship, in this marriage, that I have abandonment issues as well, because I told you from the beginning, like, I don't like clingy women. But I feel like I cling to you more than you cling to me.
Because I'm not clingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just, I be wanting to be around you all the time. I can go there, she could be downstairs, I be downstairs about 10 minutes. She gonna go upstairs, and I get upset. But I understand, like, she gotta decompress, she gotta reset and all of that. But it just, I be wanting to be around her when we in the same space.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have trust issues, and it stems from a whole bunch of things, and just wishing that, you know, that can be healed. I mean, stuff like that takes time.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
But you putting in the work. You putting in the work, because I think to me, the first step is acknowledging it.
Yeah.
So the fact that you know that it's there, it gives you the tools to be able to, like, work on it.
Yeah, so that's just with the question that you said, like, that's why I said I was scared, because I have trust issues, and I know I've been to that point to where I have abandonment issues, and the fact that you feel like the fact that you said that any moment that you wake up that I could leave, I feel that with you as well. And I don't know sometimes, because you be in your head a lot, and sometimes you don't want to speak about it, and I ask you, babe, what's wrong? And it could be nothing wrong, but then it could be something that you don't necessarily want to talk about at that point, because you may feel like it's going to come into confrontation. We're going to have confrontation or whatever, but I fear that, like, any day you can actually say that.
So I'm not that type of person. So I'll say that, because to me, I feel like I'm more at risk for that than you would ever be. And the reason that I say that is because you are flighty. Like, you're very spontaneous, and like, you'll just, like, right now you'll be feeling some type of way, and then 2 minutes later you'll be wanting to do something else. So I feel like with you, I'm more at risk. I am telling you right now, and I mean this 1,000%, are not at risk for me to just wake up one day and be like, I don't want to do this no more. Like,
but how you know that?
I know without a shadow of a doubt, there is no way in this world that I would ever wake up in the morning and just be like, yeah, nah. If I get to a point to where I don't want to be with you no more, you won't be surprised, because I will be telling you over and over and over and over again, I'm tired. Because I'm the type of person that I know, I don't know what it feels like to, like, give my all in a relationship. Anything else, and I'm looking at it now with the way that I am with you, I'm going to give this everything that I have, so that if it ever gets to a point to where I have to separate from you, or we aren't married anymore, or need to get divorced, I have given you everything that I have. I don't feel like it's nothing else that I can contribute that could try to even solve anything that we have going on. So it would never be a surprise to you coming from me. But
I don't know. I feel like I have way more respect for you to communicate that with you, because of how we came in. We were honest with each other. We were able to talk. It's open communication. You know, I feel like that'll be something to talk about. I feel like even if you feel like I am flighty, or I do change or switch up, I feel like I would give you that much, even though it might be hard as hell for me to. I will give you that.
Yeah, and that's all I ask for. You know, that's because that's a personality trait of yours that attracted me to you so much in the beginning. You know, like, one of the things that they say is, like, one of the things that attracts you to a person the most will be one of the things that make you want, like, hate it the most once y'all get together. And that's what I was originally so attracted to you about, that you were so spontaneous, and it was like, it was not a plan. It was, I just feel like doing this at this moment, so it's finna be done. And so it's like, now sometimes I just be like, bro, you can't just come while I'm in the middle of a conference call and be like, let's go to Vegas. I can't do that, Mel. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, all right, let's get up, let's go to Shreveport. Like, man, I still have 3 days of work left.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it just be those type of things. It's like your spontaneity. I still love that about you, but then sometimes I just like, bruh, cause I be wanting to go too.
And I be getting a whole attitude, and I be knowing.
You really do, but I be having an attitude too, because you don't stay. Because I can't go. I watch you leave. And so, yeah, it pissed me off even more, because I'd be like, God damn. But, yeah. So, So yeah, it's a lot. So you remember we were listening. Shout out to Alone on the Couch podcast. You know he from his family lives in Bossier.
For real?
Yeah. But you remember we was listening to the episode where he had the
counselor. What she want to call herself?
What she called herself? She said a
some analyst, I think.
Advisor. I don't know.
But
I
anyway,
forgot.
she was
Coach Suzette. Coach Suzette. We gonna call. I forgot what your title was. All apologies to you if you happen to hear this or even alone on the podcast. But that episode where you had Coach Suzette, that lady is so wise.
Man,
y'all,
she dropped some gems.
If y'all have never heard, and I'm gonna plug it because there was such. Just go to Alone on the Couch podcast.
You remember what episode it was?
Just look for the episode that says with Coach Suzette. Anyway, so that lady, she dropped so many gems, and like Mel said, and it was like, she called herself a relationship solutionist. That's what it was. So she was the guest speaker, but she talked about, putting past versions of yourself in the back seat. Yeah. And that speaks to past traumas. Right. And that that resonated with me so much, especially like we were talking about, I think on the last episode about trauma and our own personal traumas that we had, and it's just like when I look back on situations and the way that I handled them and the women and the men that I hurt,
we was in our child positions and trying to handle adult situations and children positions,
and I called myself grown because I lived by myself, because I worked, because I had my own money, my own car, you know what I'm saying, but I was not going into these relationships as a 22, 23, 24, 25-year-old. I was there as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old.
Me too. 12,
you know,
13.
yeah. So it's like, even though I was there, like I was the face, I was the body, my mind, no. Because it was just like a lot of, it would go back to that trauma.
Right.
Or whatever that situation was that I was dealing with. Right. So yeah, anyway, shout out to that. You guys go listen to that episode again. That's Alone on the Couch podcast with Coach Suzette. Even if you don't want to listen to that episode, just go to her page on Instagram. Yeah. Even on Instagram, she drops gems. Again, babe, we still have a lot more questions, so I think this is now going to become a 3-part episode.
Whoop, whoop. Hey, bend over, that ass too fat, hey.
Babe, what we want them to do?
We want y'all to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook at @theboxds. Also, you can leave us emails at @theboxds@yahoo.com for any suggestions, advice, questions, anonymously if you want. Also, look both ways for them tap water babies. We on brand, at the box. Peace.
Bye.